Hi, honeys. It's Michelle. I'm super excited. My Barnes& and Noble shipment arrived early. So I'm bursting from the seams with excitement. I love getting new books. There's nothing like it for a book lover. So I wanted to show you what I got. Got my scissors. So I'm probably a broken record at this point, but I've decided to only buy my books from bookstores in an effort to help support them because they're all hurting right now. I'm going to be doing book hauls now that are anytime I go and buy, more than one book, I'll do a haul on here. So it'll be Barnes & Noble. It'll also be some of the bookstores that are local to my area, as long as they open back up. Because I thought that'd be fun too. If I go to a used bookstore and I buy books, why not do a haul for that as well? I don't know. Everything doesn't have to be brand new, right? Okay. Okay. Are you ready for the books? Nice bookstore smell. Am I right though? There's something delightful about the smell of a especially new book. I don't know. Some of the used books that I've bought maybe don't smell the best, but the new ones always smell good. Wow, this is a book right here, huh? Look at how thick that is. This is not Lord of the Rings. This is not Game of Thrones. This is The Nightingale by Kristin Hannah. So this book is 564 pages long. So it's a big beast of a novel. The reason that I got this book, I don't even know what it's about. I'll read the back to you though, just for fun. But the reason I got this book, I used to be a part of a book club back when I lived in Florida with some of my friends. We were in this crochet circle together and we formed a book club. And the gals in the book club read this book and they said that it was so good, they couldn't put it down, and they both read it in a weekend. Which to me is impressive with any book, but when it's over 500 pages, that's pretty dang good, right? So I don't even know what it's about. I just thought at that point, I'm going to go ahead and get the book. Now, I have read at least 5 books by Kristin Hannah. She is from Washington State. So am I. And I used to read my books. Yes, I'm an author also in my spare time. I used to read her books when I lived in Washington State. And usually they have a bit of a romance novel feel to them. I don't know what it is, but ever since I married my husband, romance novels aren't as interesting to me. Something about being with him kind of ruined that genre for me. Not that I don't still read them every once in a blue moon, but it's a blue moon, like maybe one book a year, maybe. So this will be my one book this year. Okay, so what is this book about? Let me read you the back here. This is Goodreads' Best Historical Novel of the Year, People's Choice Favorite Fiction Winner, #1 Indie Next Selection, and the list goes on. It's won quite a bit. Okay. With courage, grace, and powerful insight, best-selling author Kristin Hannah captures the epic panorama of World War II and illuminates an intimate part of history seldom seen. The Women's War. The Nightingale tells the stories of 2 sisters separated by years and experience, by ideals, passion, and circumstance, each embarking on her own dangerous path toward survival, love, and freedom in German-occupied, war-torn France. A heartbreakingly beautiful novel that celebrates the resilience of the human spirit and the durability of women. It is a novel for everyone, a novel for a lifetime. Well, that sounds pretty good. And I actually really enjoy things from the World War II era. I love movies from that time. I love music from that time. So let's add a book from that time to my list. So I'm excited to read this. That now that I know what it's about, I'm even more excited to read it. The second book here is The Mother-in-Law by Sally Hepworth. Bless you. Oh, honey. Been sneezing again? You need some tissue, sweet cheeks. Okay. This book I purchased because of the reviews on it. I was looking around Barnes & Noble's website, and I was just looking at fun summer reads. I came across this one. I read what it was about and thought, wow, that sounds kind of fascinating. But then when I read the comments on it, I really wanted to read it. I read, what stands out to me the most was that it was hard to put down, that it was one of those books you could read in one sitting if you had the time, that kind of thing, which I love books like that. Yes, please, captivate me. This one, okay. People Magazine says deliciously entertaining, packed with wit and suspense, and also delivers sharp insights about family dynamics and love. Also, the place below that, it's Library Journal, says that if you like Big Little Lies, you will like this book. Okay, I love Big Little Lies, so I'm all about this. Okay, and then O Magazine says it's one of the 15 best books of the year so far. I will go ahead and read you the back. I'm sorry if I keep rasping when I breathe. My asthma has been flared up ever since it got hot outside. There's some kind of pollen in the air. Everybody's allergies are just... And when my allergies go up, so does my asthma. So I just wanted to let you know that's what you're hearing when I go, if you're hearing that when I breathe. That's why I haven't finished the next video for that Emma book yet. I feel like the quality of my voice isn't where it needs to be to do the chapter reading. From the moment Lucy met her husband's mother, she knew she wasn't the wife Diana had envisioned for her perfect son. Exquisitely polite, friendly, and always generous, Diana, nonetheless, kept Lucy at arm's length despite her desperate attempts to win her over. And because she was a pillar in the community, an advocate for female refugees, and a woman happily married for decades, no one had a bad word to say about Diana. That was 5 years ago. Now, Diana is dead. A suicide note found near her body claiming that she no longer wanted to live because of the cancer wreaking havoc inside her. But the autopsy finds no cancer. It does find traces of poison and evidence of suffocation. Who could possibly want Diana dead? Why was her will changed at the 11th hour to disinherit both of her children and their spouses? And what does it mean that Lucy isn't exactly sad she's gone? Fractured relationships and deep family secrets grow more compelling with every page in this twisty, captivating novel from Sally Hepworth. Right? To me, this is the perfect book to read when you're laying by a pool or something. Like you're on vacation, you're trying to relax, you just want to have fun, but you want something to kind of entertain you while you're outside. To me, that's what this is. The last one, that's a sit in your rocking chair all weekend long and read the book. This one is, to me, more of an outdoors novel. Not that you couldn't read it inside, but it just feels like, and of course, it probably doesn't hurt that there's a pool on the cover. I love this cover, by the way. Now, this book is 340 pages long. Well, this is fascinating. Miss Sally Hepworth, the author, She graduated from a university in Australia. She's lived around the world, spending extended periods in Singapore, the UK, and Canada, but now lives in Melbourne, Australia. That's pretty impressive. So that's the second book. So the theme for this particular purchase for me was I wanted to find summer reads. As much as I love a good murder mystery, there's something about the summer that makes me kind of want to stray a little bit and read different kinds of books. Not that there aren't murder mysteries that are good for summer, but I just look for beach reads a lot during the summer. And summer's almost here, and especially after all this quarantine business, I cannot wait to go to the beach, to go to the pool, to get outside. I'm so excited about all this to even if I'm reading from a hotel room, I'm just ready to travel. With this in mind, I got the Magnolia sisters. Now, a huge part of what originally drew me into this book was the cover. I'm not familiar with the author, but how can you resist that? Don't you want to go sit in one of those chairs? Maybe have some iced tea, right? And I love the size of this book. I can't remember what these are called. There's a name for it. It's not a pocket size, right? Or maybe it is. If you know what the name of this size is, please let me know, because it's going to bug me now. But this is my favorite size. I love the smaller books. You can put them in a tote bag, and it's no big thing. Also, this had really high ratings, and the people that read it in the review section on barnesandnoble.com absolutely love the book. So that didn't hurt at all. Okay, let's see. Publishers Weekly says, striking the perfect balance of romance, heat, and drama. This optimistic love story is a sweet start to a promising series, perfect for fans of Debbie Macomber. So like I said, my summer beach reads are a little different than what I typically read. This is also more of a romance novel, and that's okay. I used to read Debbie Macomber a lot. In fact, I guess I'm lying. I don't read one romance novel a year. I probably read more like 5 or 10, but that's not that much compared to the amount of books I read each year. But there's a Debbie Macomber novel. I think she's also from Washington State. But there's another novel that she wrote. It's a Christmas one. I can't remember what it's called, but it's about Christmas, like people for a while there, it became really popular. People would write letters at Christmas time instead of sending a Christmas card. And this book was about a girl that wrote Christmas letters for families as her job. And I just loved that book. And I've read it pretty much every Christmas since I originally bought it. And I probably originally bought the book in 2000 or something. I am one of those people that if I love a book and it feels good during a certain season or a certain holiday, you can bet money on the fact that I'll probably read it every year during that season or that holiday for the rest of my life. It's just who I am. I'm a serial monogamous when it comes to books that I love. Anyway, I digress. Back to this book. I'm going to go ahead and read you what it's about. Avery Keller arrives in Magnolia, North Carolina with one aim: collect her inheritance and quickly put the quirky town in her rear view mirror. But the father, who didn't acknowledge her when he was alive, has left Avery a mess to sort through, along with 2 half-sisters she's never met and a gorgeous single dad living next door. Soon her plan to keep this colorful, close-knit community at a distance gets complicated. Grayson Atwell has rescued plenty of people in his firefighting career. His work and his little girl Violet are his entire world, and there's no time for anything or anyone else. But the vulnerability beneath Avery's prickly facade brings out a fiercely protective side of him. Despite her protests, Gray can see that Avery's falling under Magnolia's spell, just like he's falling for her. Now the only question is, how can he convince her to give them both a chance at forever? So there you are. Like I said, not the kind of book I typically read, but I like a little bit of spice in my life. I like to change things up a little bit every now and again, so different kind of book for me. This author grew up in Ohio, but now lives in Colorado. And this book is 330 pages long. And then the last book that I got is this book. This is the Unhoneymooners by Christina Lauren. Once again, this is not the kind of book I typically read. It's more of another romance kind of novel. I'm a big fan of Sarah Ray Vargas. I don't know if you ever watch her channel or not, but she does book reviews sometimes, and she gave this book very high reviews. And when she mentioned what it was about, I kind of felt like I had to have it. This is another book that just feels like the perfect summer read. I could just see myself, you know, with a pina colada in one hand and this book in another. It just feels like the perfect book for right now. I also love the cover. Isn't that beautiful? Doesn't it just take you away? It's kind of a Calgon cover that way, isn't it? Let's see here. The New York Times says, the story skips along, propelled by rom-com, momentum, and charm. So that sounds nice. Okay, let me get some more coffee here. So I'll go ahead and read the back to you. Olive Torres is used to being the unlucky twin. From inexplicable mishaps to a recent layoff, her life seems to be almost comically jinxed. By contrast, her sister Amy is an eternal champion. She even managed to finance her entire wedding by winning a slew of contests. Unfortunately for Olive, the only thing worse than constant bad luck is having to spend the wedding day with the best man and her nemesis, Ethan Thomas. Olive braces herself for wedding hell, determined to put on a brave face. But when the entire wedding party gets food poisoning, the only people who aren't affected are Olive and Ethan. Suddenly, there's a free honeymoon up for grabs, and Olive will be damned if Ethan gets to enjoy paradise solo. Agreeing to a temporary truce, the pair head for Maui. After all, 10 days of bliss are worth having to assume the role of loving newlyweds, right? But the weird thing is, Olivia doesn't mind playing pretend. In fact, the more she pretends to be the luckiest woman alive, the more it feels like she might be right. With Christina Lauren's uniquely hilarious and touching voice. Entertainment Weekly says The Unhoneymooners is a romantic comedy for anyone who has ever felt unlucky in love. Doesn't that sound like a fun book? Even if you don't like even if you don't like romance novels, this is something that you would probably love. It just sounds so fun. Because I cannot wait to get out of my home and go explore the world again, the thought of reading a book that takes place in Maui sounds like a really good time to me. So, yeah, I'm ready for that pina colada. But this book does. It just sounds so fun. And since one of my favorite YouTubers recommended it, I figured it'd be a good time to add it to my cart. Now, it looks like this author has written quite a few books, at least 5 other books. So if I like this, maybe I'll read more of her books. Okay, this book is actually the combined pen name of longtime writing partners, best friends Christina Hobbs and Lauren Billings. Okay, so that's interesting. It's a writing team. It doesn't say where they live, but how fun is that? a writing team. I would think that that would make some of the dialogue more fascinating. I could be wrong, but I'll find out soon here. And this book is 395 pages long. So it looks like I have some reading to do, and looks like I've got about 2,000 pages to read. So that wraps up my Barnes & Noble haul. Please let me know if you've read any of these books, and if you have, if you liked them. And if you haven't read any of these books, please let me know if you would like to read some of them. All right, thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a great rest of your day. I love you. Bye.